Alright guys, wanted to make this quick video, but I needed to stitch this in the first part. You're going to need one of these. It's going to be a OBD2 port flashing tool for Ford, high speed and medium speed. As you can see, I already have the 8-inch installed here. But technically speaking, this is the first step you need to do when you're thinking about doing an upgrade, before you even swap the screen. You need to get ForScan and plug in your OBD2 flasher. And you're going to need to make a copy of your original apim when your 4-inch is installed. So I'm beyond that point just because I jumped the gun, but I did have some issues with the um, secondary apim not being fully compatible, so I had to flash it back to the OEM apim settings. So I had to take out the 8-inch screen and put in the 4-inch screen back in, and then save the settings, then put the 8-inch back in, and then flash the 4-inch settings onto the 8-inch settings. So this is what I'm showing you right now. So to do that, you're gonna have to plug in your computer, scan your modules, go here to this menu on the side, which I'll circle in a little bit. You click on that circle right there on the side. You're gonna see it right now. That one, that's where you click on to get to this menu, and then you're gonna select apim module as built format. So you're gonna click on that. You're gonna go to the bottom and click the play button to read the module, and this will give you a bunch of warnings. You're gonna have to switch back to high speed for this to read, and then once you do that, it'll read your modules as built data. It'll give you these warnings. You're just gonna have to pass through them. This is my point of give you my disclaimer. Anything you change on here could break your apim, so do this at your own risk. But here it is. So this is my OEM. I just flashed my OEM settings for my apim, and this is the first thing you want to do. You do this before you even touch the 4-inch screen. You come here, you save all, which will save all your apim's original settings. That way, if you mess something up or something doesn't load, you could always revert back to the OEM settings, or you could have them to compare and contrast like I did in this situation. But anyways, you just want to have a backup for that scenario. And here it is. This is a apim I bought. It's a 2021 version. The truck that I'm doing this to is a 2022, so you have to get those 2020 and newer apims. So here we are. At this point, I had already removed the screen, and I did have the 8-inch installed. Everything didn't work. It was plug and play. I didn't have to run any special harnesses. On the newer models, the 2021 and newer that are still Sync 3, I think are all compatible in the sense that they're plug and play without having to change any harnesses or ports. So right here I'm just showing you the apim newer generation Sync 3. This came with the factory navigation, which you can see enabled at this point, as well as the climate controls already enabled. But that's what caused it. I'm not sure that's what caused the issue, but I had to revert it back to stock because I was having an issue with not being able to select FM and Bluetooth audio. So that was the issue that I was having, reason why I reverted it back to stock. But technically speaking, all of this is plug and play. You just need the bezel and the 8-inch screen to do the swap. So you don't need any special harnesses. It plugs in place. I'm gonna show you the original apim right now, so you guys can compare and make your own decision. But this was a $300 upgrade for me, not one of those $1,500 that you see online. Here's the backside of the OEM apim. As you can see, it's also the same plug. All the connectors are the same. If you go back and look at the pictures they attached of the one I purchased in the beginning of this video, you can see that they all match and nothing's different. So it was all plug and play. After I noticed that I had the issues with the FM radio and Bluetooth, I ended up looking at the coding and everything. So I ended up saving a file from the apim that I bought, since it already had navigation and climate controls enabled. I saved a file of that even though it didn't match to my vehicle, just so I could compare and contrast what was different. So that's what I ended up doing. I ended up doing a lot of coding, looking at codes to try to update the original apim file to have navigation and climate controls on the screen. So this is what you're seeing right now. Right now I'm just kind of going through the flashing, and I'll go more in detail right now on what I ended up changing. But yeah, it was a hassle. It was like about 2 days to figure out the codes that I needed to change. So it wasn't that easy, but I got it done. I was able to figure out the differences, looking at Cyan Labs database and comparing and contrasting from the OEM APIM and the one that I purchased. I was able to figure out what I needed to change. So in the meantime, I did flash back to the OEM APIM. So I lost features on the new APIM for about 2 days, but now I was able to enable them as you're seeing here. And this is just me going through the full cycle. Whenever I flashed, I would turn off the vehicle. You have to cycle the vehicle off, and for me to make sure everything turned off, I would open and close the door. As you can see, I already swapped the splash screen on this one just for fun, um, and a clear indicator that things were working. So yeah, I mean, it was a process, but like I said, I was able to manage it and get it done, and I'll go into more detail about it right now. All right, so I finished everything already. I did the flashing. As you can see, now I got climate control here, and then as well as nav. I don't want to show nav, but it's there. I just don't want to show my address, so but it's there. It works. You see the menu item, so we're gonna go away from it. Climate. I'll power it on over here. You can see that it turned on down here. And I'm gonna go a little bit wider. And I'm going to change from this to this, so you'll see it change down there as well. We activate this. So yeah, it's working. If we put recirculate, see, activating, reduce fan speed here. Power. And that's it, it turns it off. So functioning. So yeah, I mean, it was a lot of coding. There's not a lot of information out there. So I had to compare. Luckily, the APIM that I got had the navigation, had the climate control already enabled. So I saved the original file from that as well. And then I was just comparing back and forth, took pictures, compared which ones were different. Went on CY Labs and kind of looked over the master, and then the only one that was having trouble with was the climate, which I still need to edit here, but it's where is it? Oh, it's this one right here, the second set. 7D00102 is the second set. I put a 0 first, then an 8, then I tried an A. None of those worked. I ended up swapping it to 2, and then as well as this 6, I changed it to a 3. I'm gonna try tomorrow again. I'm done for right now, but I'm gonna try tomorrow changing it back to a 6 because that's more accurate with my settings, and see if it still retains the climate controls. If not, I'll just revert back to the 3. But this 3 and 2 is what got me climate control right now, as well as changing line, where is it, 7D00401. These on the second set, yeah, on the second set, the last two 20000, that enables AC controls, I guess, as well. So that has to do with that. Navigation was enabled by 7D00102. It was the second set. I mean the first set, the second integer, I changed it to a 2. And I know there was another one that I had to change, but I didn't mark it, so I forgot. But yeah, so this one, and then what's it, one of these, I forget which ones. There's another, there's like a nav repeater and everything that needs to be enabled for this to work as well. So those two numbers need to change. I'll go back and try to add it at the end. What was the last one that I did for navigation to change? But I'm thinking it was 8. I had to look at the map again, but I think the 8 was the one that I changed to also go in line with this too. So those two things change and give you navigation on the screen. Again, there's not a lot of information on this one. This one's a 22 with the Sync 3 system, so it doesn't have Sync 4 yet. So I was able to upgrade the 4-inch screen to a Sync 3 with navigation and everything, but it was not working with the radio because some of the settings were different, so I had to revert back to the original apim data file, but then I lost the navigation and climate control, and then I did the backtracking to try to get all that enabled. But that's where we're at right now. I'll try to get more scientific numbers and set numbers that I actually changed to enable navigation by itself and climate control by itself. And then hopefully if you guys ever revert back, you'll be able to set those settings up. But yeah, that's it. Chin marín, güey, traes una Raptor. Una Raptor. Just kidding. I finally got everything, bro. A lot of decoding, but I got it. So we got your map, your OEM navigation map. I just wanted to have it since the apim has it. You have your navigation map now. Still loading. It's a little slow to load, but show you the climate control in the meantime. So now you have your climate on the screen, so you can power it on from here. See how it turns it on. Let me go a little bit wider while focusing on this. But yeah, whatever you change up here, technically you'll change it down there. So just turn that off, turn that one on. See it there. You can change the temperature, recirculate, fan speed. Bring it down. It's all on the screen now. And you can turn it off. So if I go to turn it off, you'll see all the lights in the bottom turn off. There you go. So now everything's off. That's all the sources now. You have that, you have FM, everything functioning. I don't know, I had to go through a lot of coding to get through this, but finally got the shit. So hell yeah, 100. This is maximum features you get for the Sync 3 system. But yeah, hope you like it.